Hello everyone. Imagine yourself in today's world where there are lots of different games you could play. Sports, video games, and board games. 3 different types of games that offer many different experiences to enjoy. Now, while sports and board games have been around for thousands of years, video games have also been around for many years as well, even though they're much newer. And these are all very popular pieces of media and fun to have in your life. I've always been into these types of games, especially video games and board games. I don't play as many sports as others, but I do know the more popular and obscure ones. I would say games are a form of escapism that no other experience can truly hold, and are worth trying out and learning the history of all these all started. Therefore, it's time to show the history and how these games work, whether it's outside, on table, or on the TV. So let's begin. Sports predate to thousands of years ago, where it was first used for military training, like wrestling and spear throwing, which is pretty obscure back in the day. Very different from what we have today, which is basically golf, basketball, football, etc. Now, board games also predate thousands of years ago, which the very first board game was called dice, which was made from brass and wood. Other games at the time were made from brass, wood, ivory, copper, etc. Now, the first American board game was very revolutionary, and it was called the Landlord's Game from 1903. Ever since then, there have been many board games throughout the years and have been more modern takes on some older ones as well. Now, video games, I would say, have a very interesting history as well. Video games like tic-tac-toe, tennis for two, which were in the 1950s and 1960s, were very prototype-looking games. And then in the 1970s, there were more games like the Atari 2600 that came into the home consoles. These were basically failures after a while and caused a video game crash to happen in 1983. But after 1983 into the year 1985, that's when Nintendo saved the industry with quality games, and to this day, video games are still relevant today because of Nintendo. Now, let's get into the world of sports and physical activity, like racket sports, which include tennis, table tennis, and I would say badminton as well. These all use a racket, a stick, and a paddle to hit back ball-like objects, or just ball objects, or just different objects in general, and bouncing them back to the other player. Now, extreme sports, they're called extreme because they include a very big risk to them, like skydiving, rock climbing, and skateboarding. You can tell where I'm going with this. Very big risk of getting hurt. You would need a lot of training for it. Now, ball-type sports is, I think everyone's played this before. Basketball, football, volleyball, soccer. All these include ball or ball-type objects to dribble, throw, or kick, etc. Now, summer/winter sports, these are mostly used for the Olympics, like snowboarding, swimming, skiing, track and field, all that sort of jazz. Now, let's get into the different types of video games and board games that we could play. There are many different types of video games and board games to explore, so let's get right into it. Beginner/casual board games, I'd say. Farming sims or platformers like Super Mario Brothers. Super Mario Brothers is a very casual game to get into. While it's very easy at first, it does gradually get harder, but it's still hard enough for the casual player to enjoy. Now, let's say like tough games like Elden Ring, Dark Souls, or Hollow Knight, Metroidvanias, or Souls-like games. These basically start off easy within the first 5 minutes, but get really hard and really test the player's patience. So if you're into that, then you're technically an expert. Now let's go into the 2 types of board games. Beginner board games like Pandemic or Candyland, where you flip open a card, chooses a color, and put a player figure on the color. Very simple to understand. Now, tough video games like chess. I still don't entirely know how chess works, but it does take a few months and a year for a casual player to learn and understand. It takes more if you are trying to become an expert player. It's really tough, I would say. Now, we've certainly learned a lot today. So let me close off on what we all learned. Let's close off on what we all learned today, folks. I would say games are a form of escapism that no other experience can truly hold. Whether it be physical, mind, or hand-eye coordination. These experiences, I would say, are worth trying out and learning the history of how these all started. I hope that you all have learned something today. These games are more than just games. To me, and to other people around the world, they are a form of escapism from the real world. And for that, I think that is really, truly beautiful. Thank you all.